was not meant to happen. This could not happen. This is happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, tuning in from all over the world, we have another superstar guest for you on The Coach's Son Parks the Bus. The Wangaratta Wizard, they call him. Mr. Sebastian Pasquali from Western United. Seb, great to have you on the pod, mate.
Hey guys, yep, thanks for having me. I don't know about a wizard, but more like a warrior, to be honest.
Yeah, we love
polished,
it.
But yeah.
You can't give your own nicknames on the fly. Tell us about your upbringing, where you grew up, and how you got into football.
Yeah, so you just touched on it. I was brought up in Wangaratta, a little country town in northeast Victoria. Started playing soccer there from a young age. Both my parents were heavily involved in sport. My dad played a bit of footy, a bit of soccer. He had Italian immigrant parents. So I guess my choice was affected by that Italian touch as well. So yeah, I spent a fair chunk of my childhood, traveling around country Victoria, playing soccer, rep soccer, school soccer. Fair bit of time on a Sunday afternoon at the local soccer club. Staying back, watching the seniors. It was pretty. I guess it was a pretty cozy country town. Plenty of hunger for the world game, which I loved because that was what I, found fun growing up. Had a brother. I have a brother. Sorry, 2 years older. He did the same, and he probably pushed me and sort of got that competitive edge out of me. Being a younger brother, I always wanted to be like him or be better than him and get the attention off the rents. So, I guess all that sort of formed my appetite for what I do now, and I still try and get back there. When we've got weekends off, I'll get back there and see a large chunk of my family who still live there. My parents have moved back there now, so it's a nice little getaway for me as well. So, yeah, I'm pretty heavily connected.
Yeah, well, you mentioned your Italian heritage, and you're from country Victoria. There can't be too many Italians, and you probably own the whole fucking village.
You'd actually be surprised.
Really?
Because a lot of Italian immigrants migrated there because there was lots of work opportunities. So it's a pretty prime area for winemaking. The King Valley region is about 45 minutes outside of Wangaratta, and a lot of the wine that you'd be drinking from Dan Murphy's and at your locals would be produced out of there. My grandparents, they were tobacco farmers when they moved over here. So so like you'd be surprised. It's pretty heavily populated by Italian communities, Greek communities.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
Yeah, wow.
Well, your career could have gone a different way. You could have been working in wines in the cellars.
I could have gone from one extreme to the other.
How good.
Yeah.
We'll fast forward a little bit. Starting off with your career, moving into Melbourne Victory. Let's set the scene a little bit. So, July 2016, you're 16 years old, 66 minutes of the game. You got the gaffer, Kevin Muscat's looking at you, and he's saying, come on over here.
Yeah.
You get your unofficial debut against Juventus. Let's run through it. It's pretty wild. You're pretty much a teenager at the time. What's running through your mind? Yeah,
it was a big week. I got told early in the week that I'd be involved. Like everyone in the squad who was training would be involved in the match day, like prep. To what extent, wasn't sure. Wasn't promised anything. The day before, like we had a little session, we were practicing some penalties. And then after training, there was probably 4 or 5 of us younger boys in the squad at the time. We all got told that we'd also be on the bench. So that in itself was just like I was on a high from that night. Like went home, told my parents, texted my mates, tried to get as many tickets as I could for them. And all they were putting in my head was swap your shirt, like got to get Dybala's shirt or
percent.
Yeah, 100%. Like I was going to go for that. So it was a pretty exciting like week, and that night before the build up was pretty amazing. I went to school the next day. Like
Can imagine.
Left early, which was like I felt like the king of the school walking out early, like because everyone knew where I was going.
100%, as you do.
Like
You're just passing out.
And if they don't know, you tell them anyway.
Yeah. The poor office lady, I had to tell her. I was like, sorry. Like, she's like, have you got parental permission? I was like, oh, sorry. I've got to head to the MCG. I got a game on tonight. And
Kevin Basket picks you up from school.
Yeah.
It was
just passing out pamphlets at 7 p.m. Tune in on Foxtel, guys. No, right.
Oh, exactly right. And, that was like at the height of sort of the A-League as well, in a sense. Like, so there was a lot of coverage and a lot of media attention around it. And then, I guess got to the ground and, goosebumps when you see, a shirt hanging up. Your shirt, we didn't have our names on the shirt because it was just a friendly, but just to know that was your shirt, your senior, unofficial debut for the senior team, could potentially happen against a European powerhouse. It was warming up on there. You're on the MCG as well, which is arguably one of the best stadiums in the world. It was just a...
Only Melbourne people think that.
Yeah.
Nah. I mean, like you say, that was the first time pulling on the shirt for the first team. That could have been in a Australia Cup game against absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
But like you said, you're coming up against Juventus, like absolute powerhouse of European football.
Absolutely,
it's insane.
Yeah.
How was it feeling stepping up for that penalty too? That would, you know what it is? It's one of these things that so much probably happened. Like you just talked about the lead up to everything.
Yeah.
And then to top everything off, you're given that. Were they giving out like order of pens or stuff like that before games or anything like that?
No, not at all. It was pretty casual. Like Kevin Muscat, the coach at the time, he just said out loud, who wants to take one? I put my hand straight up. I was like, yeah, I'll have one. Like straight away. I think everyone was a little bit surprised. Everyone turned and looked around at, like, and looked at me and was like, "Are you serious?" Like,
I've come this far.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, righto, off you go. Like, you can have one." And then someone else sorted out the order, and then that's just how it went. We were standing there. I was pretty nervous because I was like far out, like. Hopefully, like someone else misses before me. I'm not the first one to miss, if I was. But yeah, it sort of, it sort of went how it went, and I scored, which was amazing, and gave it a little fist pump, and it was a pretty good feeling.
In that moment, do you forget that it's been televised?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You're probably thinking, "Oh, fuck me, so I'm going to cop it at school tomorrow." Extra homework for me.
14-6.
Yeah, absolutely. Even now, like, you forget, like, that you're on TV. Like, you don't really like appreciate the level that you're at sometimes. Like, and that people are watching you play for entertainment. So, it's hard to take a step back when you're in the moment and be like, "Wow, like,
this is happening."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Did you end up changing shirts with anyone?
Yeah, I got one of the young Italian midfielders at the time. He's now playing at like Sampdoria or something like that. He's moved on from Juventus, but luckily, like,
you got framed.
Yeah, legit. Luckily, I didn't. He didn't want my shirt, like, which I wasn't cut about because, like, I wanted to keep mine.
Yeah,
it was special to me, and he just gave me his. He's like, "No, you keep yours." Like, he must have known I was a young kid or whatever, or like. He probably didn't even want a victory shirt anyway, to be honest. But
you probably didn't even take it off. Did you wear it to school the next day?
100%. That wasn't.
In case everyone forgot.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah. And you went on to represent Australia on the world stage at the AFC Under-19 Championship back in 2018. Mm-hmm. What was that experience like, representing your country in a tournament? And is the ultimate goal for you to go and represent Socceroos?
Yeah, I mean, ultimate goal would definitely be to represent the Socceroos. Representing country on any stage is a big achievement, and I was lucky enough to do that at under 20 level and under 23 level as well. So very thankful for that opportunity. That tournament that we had, it was the Asian Cup, so we sort of needed to finish in the top 4 to qualify for the following under 20 World Cup, and we just sort of slipped at the last hurdle, which was very disappointing, to be honest. I still play with and against a lot of those boys who are in that team, so we often bring it up and be like, what could have gone to a World Cup together. But I think now it's just got to look towards playing at a senior men's World Cup, with Australia one day. I share that goal along with many other young, talented, aspiring footballers across the league.
Yeah, a bit like when we growing up. Was it Australia? Was it Greece? You would have been the same. Is it Australia? Is it Italy?
My grandparents put me under the pump still. Like, you haven't played for the Socceroos. Like, you can still play for Italy. And I'm like, I haven't been called up for the Socceroos. Do you think I'm going to get a call up for Italy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it takes a bit.
After the Euros performance,
mate,
who knows?
I know, but they got to be the depth,
Yeah. Don't forget.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just at that.
Yeah. No, look, we've got to bring it up. Every interview that you have, every podcast that you go on, I'm sure they bring it up to you as well. The few years that you spent at Ajax. And for everyone listening on the squad, everyone listening on the pod, I'm going to just rattle off a couple of names. I went through the 3 years that you were there and some of the big players that you've been rubbing shoulders with at the time. So you would have had Andre Onana, Donny van der Beek, Davinson Sanchez, Mazraoui, Frankie de Jong, Sven Botman. I'm going to keep going here. Robin Birch, Timber, all playing at elite level. And there's probably a lot more that I've missed out on there. I'm not going to ask you who was the best at the time. I want to know who surprised you the most. Who do you think, okay, they weren't standing out at that time when you were, how old were you at the time, 17, 18? Who's gone on to, achieve greatness and you didn't think so back then?
A kid named, I don't know if you just named him then, but Serginho Dest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know him, but yes.
Yeah, so he's probably one that surprised me the most. Like, when I was there, he couldn't get a game in the under-19s. And then when the year after, when we were in and around the reserve team and sort of extended first team squad and having a few sessions here and there with the first team players, like, he was like nowhere to be seen. And then he had like half a dozen good games for the under-19s and playing as a winger. And he was always a fullback and they played him as a winger, and his like technical ability just was just put on show because he's very, very flary. Like, he's so flary as a fullback. Yeah. It's crazy what he does. And then I left that year. That was in my last year. I left. I chose to leave. They didn't kick me out. I just chose to leave.
No, obviously.
They
had about bigger and better things.
They had about 6 other midfielders just took my spot. So and then they just they were sort of rumoured to lose Mazraoui to Bayern, and they gave him a chance and he took it, and he literally played half a season, and then Barcelona bought him.
That's crazy.
And I was like, what the heck is happening? Like, where's football at? Like,
yeah.
And then he was at Barca for like less than a season, and then he went to AC Milan, and I was like, what?
Must be nice.
Yeah, like,
must be nice.
Yeah, it must be nice, man. Like, me, like.
Hey, bro, can I have your shirt?
Yeah, exactly. That's just a prime example of like how crazy football is now. Quick things can change. Like, you can be, you can be trash to someone, but you can be treasure to someone else. Just about, how can a coach get the best out of you, and how can you feel the most comfortable to perform. Bit of trust can do amazing things as a player. yeah, so that's probably like one example that I remember. There's something that surprised me out of that crop of players that you named.
Was there anyone that big name now that you were kind of keeping out of the team at one point? Like, Frankie de Jong, I took his spot in the team, or
Not
anyone like that?
not even close to Frankie de Jong. I couldn't even get within like 10 meters of him on the pitch, let alone take his spot.
Was he stand out? Was he? He was
Oh,
head and shoulders above everyone else at the time.
he was next level. Oh, there was a few for about a season or two. Probably not quite as big a names, but they're still playing. Like French League One, or in the Bundesliga, like top level. So
it's not A-League, but
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like I'd like to think that I got the best out of them. So
you made them look good.
Yeah, contributed to their success a little bit. So look, the level of talent that they have and that they continue to produce just from their academy is amazing.
With that already being a pretty big move from Melbourne to Ajax, there were also a few other changes with your position on the pitch, down the line when you were there. So you were pretty much a box-to-box midfielder, and then you got pushed to a centre-half for a little while. Do you feel like maybe aspects to your game helped in that situation, or do you feel like it was a whole new experience?
Bit of both. At the time, like the first team were playing under Eric Ten Hag. He'd just come over to coach the first team, and he started playing Frankie de Jong in that position for the first team. So us as the reserve team, we needed to follow suit and play that way as well. And it also allows the coach to basically fit in an extra midfielder as well, an extra ball player. Our centre backs were very good ball players as well, but they wanted a midfielder there who could step in, and then it would ultimately leave a back three. So I think I learned definitely how to play a different role, to understand a more defensive, disciplined midfield role, more of like what it's like as a centre back to have the ball and what he needs from his midfielders in front in terms of movement and positioning. And also, you're also one layer. You have one layer less of defense. Like if you lose the ball, they're on goal. So, it sort of tests you. It's like, well, are you going to play the same way, or are you going to change? You're going to play safer, and they didn't want me to play safer. They wanted me to play how I play as a midfielder. They wanted me to take risk and just do what I felt I needed to do. So that took a little bit of adjusting, but we had a fair bit of success, and I think I ended up playing there for like 5 or 6 games in a row, and we ended up winning, I think, 3 or 4 of them against like decent opposition as well. So it was definitely a little tick that I could put in my notebook of positions played and
put on your resume.
Yeah, exactly right, yeah.
And you're pretty much confirming you've gone from a wizard to a warrior.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
Who do you verse when you play in these youth teams and the second teams? Who do you actually verse? Do you verse other teams from the Dutch league, or do you verse, obviously Ajax being a massive club, do you play other teams from Spain, Italy?
Yeah, so we play in the second division in Holland, and if like the likes of PSV reserves, they're also in the second division. Utrecht's reserves, they're also in the second division. But the other reserve teams from the big clubs in the Eredivisie, some of them are in like the third and fourth division. Like they've never been promoted up.
Yeah.
So the other teams are just like proper like senior teams. So like equivalent of like an NPL team who are in the second division, and they get promoted and relegated all the time from the top flight. So like big clubs in Holland like Twente and ADO Den Haag and Venlo and Vitesse, like they've all spent, a few seasons in the second division as well. So you get to play in like some pretty big stadiums, and they pull like, sometimes like 20,000 at a second division game. Like, so it's pretty amazing atmosphere and pretty good level still.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
When you first get there, do you feel the aura of the club? Like, it's like,
Yeah, definitely.
the big time.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I was ready for it, what that change of, lifestyle and environment,
Yeah.
It's a massive club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really prepare yourself
No.
for those things. You went over when you were, 17 years
Yeah.
old? Like,
Definitely.
you're probably thinking now, I could have done this and that.
Yeah,
but, like,
definitely.
You don't know that when you're 17.
No, it just hits you. For the first 4 weeks is like amazing. It's like Christmas. It's exciting. It's good. And then you sort of go through a pretty tough patch of getting used to, like, it's dark at 4 p.m. Yeah,
Fuck that.
it's cold. Like in the winter,
Yeah.
it's snowing. It's not very pleasant.
Right.
You go through periods of not having your family there. You can't talk to your friends when you want.
No.
Yeah, it can be a little bit lonely. Yeah, I guess that's the football world. It sort of teaches you some harsh lessons along the way as well.
All part of the journey, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So fast forward a little bit, obviously coming back to Australia, in the 21-22 season for Western United, unfortunately, you suffered a season-long injury.
Mm-hmm.
How do you overcome that mentally? So physically, you've obviously got the physios and staff to get you through it, on a daily basis. But it's the tougher part is probably being on the sidelines and watching and knowing you could probably make an impact, but you can't get out there. And for specifically, for what injuries that you might have went through, you're on the sidelines for quite a long time.
Yeah, it's another downside of professional sport. Injuries and setbacks. They can either make you or break you, and it's sort of the attitude that you carry with you to help get you through is really important. You need physios and doctors and coaches to lean on and to feel support from. You also need a really close inner circle, friends and family who can, advise you and give you some sort of sense of perspective as well. You've got so much time when you're injured of just not doing what you love. You need to find things to do to fill in that time and to fill that void of things that you still enjoy to do. So that was a big part of my rehabilitation for the better part of 1 or 2 years. It was finding things away from football that gave me a sense of satisfaction and that I was getting better at something, or I was growing in a way, so that when I came back and I was able to play the game again, I had leveled up on a personal level, not necessarily physical or technical or tactical, but just a more well-rounded person. Yeah.
No, no wine. Hey, I'm trying to rehab here. None of that, please. Did you go back home? Well, you probably would have stayed with the physios, right?
Oh, no, I had periods where I would stay at home and do my rehab off-site for 4 to 5 weeks at a time, and just report, over text and WhatsApp and videos and whatnot. So that was great. Like I had a pretty good relationship with my rehab team. So I was lucky to be able to do that and do things off-site and just refresh mentally.
During your career, has there been a person that's helped guide you or mentor you through your footballing journey? And it could have been a senior player, could have been an ex-coach of yours. And do you still keep in touch with anyone like that?
Yeah, my manager, he's probably, from a football perspective, someone I lean on quite a lot. My dad also. They're probably my two main figureheads when I think about that. And then my mum, on the other side of things, she'll be the one to, give me life lessons and phone me up and make sure I'm doing the washing and cleaning and
Keep you in line.
keep me in line. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Like I've had a lot of good coaches who've helped me in terms of training and football perspective, and I've had a number of great teammates from the likes of Andrew Durante. He's a A-League legend. Diamante, also a superstar of world football. Got to rub shoulders with him. Back when I was at Melbourne Victory as a real youngster, Carl Valeri, Lee Broxham, stalwarts of the A-League. And I think they've all sort of imparted some knowledge on me that's I've carried with me throughout my career to date. So I can only be thankful for those encounters that I've had.
Not Ten Hag, you mentioned him before. Hey, bro, how you going? You want to come over? They do need a bit of help
Quick
at the
text.
moment.
I was thinking about messaging like one of the boys like that I keep in touch with from my time there, and just being like, can you send him a message and just being like, just
What's going on?
Man United's my team. Like, I actually think personally that he's not performing. Like,
Oh, fuck.
mate, it's not.
That's the best.
I felt like saying to him, like, it's not. This is not the Eredivisie, mate. This is the Premier League. Like,
Just send him the highlight videos from your time there.
Yeah.
Come on, surely you remember, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Or it would be like, who the hell is this bloke? Do I know this guy?
We tend to ask a couple of the other guys that come on as well. You're obviously in a FIFA game.
Yeah.
You got to be buzzing when you're in a FIFA game.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting. Look at this smile on his face. Pretty exciting.
We have to make ourselves every time we want to play. This guy's just on there. Stats go up every year.
I actually don't play FIFA.
What?
No way to lie, I don't play it. Like, I haven't for years. So, in terms of like stats and all that, I'm not the best person to ask. I did find out what my rating and stuff was the other day because our media team was doing a few little behind the scenes videos for it. But otherwise, I wouldn't have known.
Right. There you go.
Interesting. That's not like the other boys.
Yeah, they love
You should have seen it.
my teammates.
Buzzing.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. They're getting in contact with EA Sports and everything.
Yeah, legit.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
0 goals so far in your A-League career. Short A-League career. When can we expect you to break this drought? And have you got a celebration in mind?
I hope this season. I got the tap on the shoulder the back end of last year from the coach, and he said, if we get a penalty in any of these games, like, you're on them. And I was like, I'm buzzing because you
Absolutely, from 8 years ago.
You're in trouble come end of season celebrations. So you got to get off the 0. I think it'll happen. I hope it'll happen in the first part of the season this year.
You got a celebration in mind?
Got a celebration in mind. I'll keep it quiet for now.
We're going to say, because we're hoping. I think that you guys maybe have Sydney FC, I think, in round 2 or something. So we're saying we might head down to the game. You're going to see us in the crowd.
Yeah,
run straight to us, mate. We want a bit of TV time. We're going to run straight to us.
Big knee slide, lift your shirt up, coach's son right here. You're kissing it.
They kiss the badge, kiss the real badge underneath. How good.
Yeah.
How good. All right, well, I think it's that time, Steve. I think it's that time. It's the big question. Seb, tell us, who's your coach's son nomination?
And why?
My coach's son nomination is Michael Roos.
Oh, we're tracking back.
Imagine getting nominated twice. You're joking. I don't even want him on again.
He's a jokester. He's a jokester, isn't he?
He's a jokester. You don't know what you're going to get. He's like a box of favourites. Like, honestly, sometimes
that's the best.
He's yelling and screaming in the change room at early hours in the morning. You're not ready for that sometimes, I feel like he just goes home. He must go home and just crash and sleep like that. Because the amount of energy and excitement that he exerts at training is next level.
That's hilarious. We felt that, I think, when he came on for his episode 2, it was funny. I think he was coming back really late from the airport, and we had a really late interview with him, and he just felt like he was buzzing to get on.
He's one of a kind, and he's got a very kind heart. He's a very, very good boy, Rusey. Great player. He's got a lot of ability, and hopefully he can jag a few goals this year. So
absolutely,
take a bit of pressure off me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can give me a celebration.
Yeah.
Well, Seb, thanks for joining us and parking the bus with the boys. We wish you the very best for the season coming forward.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Yeah, of course. Everyone,
Thank you, mate.
we'll be back next week. Make sure to like and subscribe and everything. All right. Chat soon. Take care, guys.
This was not meant to happen. This could not happen.